Back at it again with another video with good news and bad news in the Madden community. Player lock is apparently being taken off next year. Well, it's not being taken off, but you're being given the option to take it off, which is great news for me because you see a couple of my videos, I make mistakes and go into player lock. From what Rex Dixon put in one of the blogs, I don't think it was Rex Dixon, I think it was one of the developers, not actually Rex, but he stated that he does believe EA was confused on what we meant by player lock. And a lot of people were trying to explain to him, but here was my idea of player lock when we brought it up maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I felt player lock would be better suited for a person who switches off on different players and puts them in position or puts them in certain zones. But now with the hotkeys on defense, you don't really need to do that. But if you're not learning to use the hotkeys, the player lock would be a great weapon for you nonetheless. This would basically be how player lock will work. You're on a safety. As the play, he tries to quick hike you while you're on a D lineman. What happens, the player lock will take you back to the player who you want it to be. If you're a person who plays with the middle linebacker, you're a person who plays with the D end or the D tackle, you know, it's a counter to people who love quick hiking us when they see players moving or see players jumping. It would really help out. You know, let's say you like bringing a DN off the line and you've clicked over to a linebacker to make him blitz and he hikes the ball and you're no longer that DN that you used to roam with. So now he has a free play and he attacks you in that spot, goes for a touchdown or goes for a first down, whatnot. Next, the bad news. Aggressive catch is here to stay. Aggressive catch was one of the things that a lot of people from last year complained about, because if you were a user catcher, if you were a user player who basically clicked on your players and took the ball from corners, everybody complained that, hey, this is not real football. If it was real football, I'd be able to make a play on the ball. Technically, it was a way to basically put Madden, make it friendly, player friendly. Madden became way more player friendly. Because this year, I will admit, this is I've played maybe 800 to 700 games, maybe. This is the most I've ever played Madden. I don't know if it's MUT or if it's the aggressive catch, but I barely get aggressive catch animation, so I think it's MUT. But at the same time, you remember when they did this before, when they made Madden one button with the player, with ball hawk and the assist, where you would hold X and you could actually let the computer chase down a person in the open field to tackle them. They nerfed it and took it off all Madden. So with the hopes that that might be what happens next year, or it may not be as overpowered, I'm not sure, Rex Dixon hasn't said, but the next thing was swatting the ball. They're implementing a way for us to swat the ball, but it will not be an actual swat. He says they're back and forth between it of what they want to do. It may just be button, holding a button. And if you get the animation, you get the animation. But as we all know, the biggest problem with that is getting the animation. You don't want to depend on the computer giving you what you want. And that was what happened this year. The computer basically made you decide if you wanted to take those one-on-one battles. Everything turned into a drag, slant, C-route thing. Because everybody wanted to know, okay, what really determines the animation? Rex Dixon, you see right there, I make a mistake and go into player lock. Oh, I hate that thing. I hate it with a passion. But, oh man, I lost my place in it. But anyway, everybody just wanted to know what is it? And Rex Dixon stated it's height, spec catch. But then again, I have Calvin Johnson. I've seen Calvin Johnson a lot of times, and Calvin Johnson doesn't win battles against Desmond Trufant. Desmond Trufant outjumps Calvin Johnson. So how is, I have no idea. I'm still totally lost on what they're looking for, about what it is. I do believe it's like G. Maya says, it's predetermined. If you're scheduled to throw an interception, you're gonna throw an interception. If you're scheduled to get a big play, you're gonna get a big play. That is the weirdest part about this, is that this year is not much skill involved in Madden, and I think that's why Madden took off so much this year, because you had people who were in the games who shouldn't have been in the game. Have you ever played someone who just chucks the ball deep and prays and he always gets it? Or you have the guy who just slings it up or continuously runs 4 verticals. The reason that they had to nerf the defense this year, the aggressive catch would not have worked. The defense was nerfed because last year you could come out and run a cover 3 defense and shut down almost everything, because the safety played intelligent. The safety played the middle of the field like a safety was supposed to. 4 verticals only worked last year if you got it to the tight end, and most people knew how to man the tight end up on a linebacker in the flats and take him away. Because if the linebacker was coming from the right side of the field and the post route was going to the left, the linebacker would always undercut it if he had enough speed. This year was totally different. They changed the whole mechanics of the defense, and for some strange reason now, the defense doesn't even play seam routes. Seam routes were overpowered by a million this year. I should have been picked off right there. But anyway, seam routes, 4 verticals. Flies, I would say flies were overpowered at the beginning of the game, but once you figured out how to play over top and pass commit, you kind of got the gist of it and how to attack. And the safeties play so backwards that you can still attack a 2 deep safety coverage, even though he has inside and over the top coverage on the guy. So it was basically, like I said, it was a play of chance. Everything was chance. Everything was, you had a chance to actually win. You had a chance to actually play against a top tier talent and have fun. We, the people who actually win in Madden, go out and create a team of players who fit our scheme. It's been said by EA that players who are better than other players or have higher rankings or are in a different class are going to be better than certain players. So that was a jump for some people to where you can come out with an all-legend team and beat a guy who's better than you. Another helpful thing was that if you spent money on this, which top players honestly don't unless you're a YouTuber, top players don't spend money on this. The average player spends $600 to $700 a year on this minimum. The bad part was the average player is the player that EA wanted to appease itself to, so they had to make the game more playable. And it kind of went south, but at the same time it gave everybody a good chance to see what they liked about the game or what they hated. And aggressive catch destroyed the game. The best thing about this is that we're going to get a SWAT in the game. We're going to get player lock taken off, and aggressive catch is going to be nerfed. So next year we'll take a look at Madden and see what they do to it, because they really need to fix a lot.